Hey there, I've recently gotten into Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, as kind of my new cozy game that I'm playing after work, and it's got quite a few variations in the character creation. You can really customize your eyes, your hair, your ears, different facial features. So, anyways, the gist of the game so far that I've figured out is that you are an assistant to an archaeologist. You find this dragon, it comes to life, and it can transport you through time. You crash land in the past and are helping out this village and the king and the princess doing some quests to get back to your dragon so you can get back to your time. Before they help you, they kind of get really upset because they call you lazy and you need a job. So the lives are kind of like your various skill tree jobs: cooking, fishing, mining, fighting. They have 3 different categories. So you have combat, crafting, and gathering. And they all have similar mechanics within each other. I started with fishing because it's usually my least favorite game mechanic, and I just kind of wanted to get it over with. But whenever you start a new life, you go to the guild and you kind of get a license for that job. Go talk to the master of that category. They'll give you a little bit of a tutorial quest line. You can skip it if you want, but the gist of fishing and other gathering lives is you have an item that you're gathering that has a life bar, and so you are pressing A to knock down that life, and it can be a quick hit or a heavy hit by pressing Y, which will do more damage. And you can move around with your joystick and find a sweet spot that does extra damage. So it is the same with fishing and wood cutting and mining. So basically for wood cutting, you're walking around and hitting the tree till you find that sweet spot and knocking down the item's life, HP, whatever you want to call it. Now, this mechanic has upgrades through the skill trees of each of the lives, so it makes it quicker, more damage, and finding that sweet spot easier. Again, same thing with mining, just hitting till you find that sweet spot and knock down the life. The crafting jobs are a little bit different, and that is being a tailor, being a blacksmith, a craftsman, and cooking. They all have their own little mini game where you're going to each station and pressing A, tapping A, holding it, doing whatever the action is that they want in a certain time limit to fill that completion bar. Now this can get a little bit tricky if you miss a step or if you try a recipe that is above your existing level for that skill. And it kind of reminds me of the old school Nintendo DS games like Cooking Mama, so it can get fun, but the smallest thing can really trip you up here, as I missed this one in the middle. And that alone was enough to get me that 1% less than what I needed for the completion. So there are 4 combat lives, and I'm never been good at combat in games, and this isn't horrible. It's a lot of button smashing. You'll have a quick attack and a heavy attack, and you can block. I just never do. It does pop up a lot in the game to get resources and go through dungeons and stuff, so just keep that in mind that it is required in the game, but it's not bad. There are 4 different combat lives, and you have the paladin, which is a short sword and a shield, the mercenary, which is a heavy 2-handed sword, hunter, which is ranged with bow and arrow, and then magician, which is also ranged kind of with your staff and magic. I do wish that there was a quick way to switch between the different combat roles. If anybody does know about that, let me know in the comments. Alright, let's talk about the quests. I'm about 12 hours into the game now, and I have not run out of things to do. There's a lot going on. You have your story quests, which are moving you through the main plot. You have fully separate quest line items for each life, and getting these blue stars is what gets you like promotions to the next level of that job until you get up to the master level. And these are kind of hard to knock off, especially early in the game. The last one is personal requests, and these are villagers just kind of asking you to make stuff or go grab them things. Onto the skill tree. You get individual skill points for each job or life, so it's not just one big pool, they each have their own. And these are pretty big skill trees. These are unlocking things like more SP, heavier damage, more time in the crafting, and I'm sure a ton of others. I am a hoarder when it comes to items, so I am very happy to see that there are 999 slots for a few of these categories, and it doesn't seem like there is a max for some of the items that stack. Overall, I really have enjoyed the game so far. There seems to be a lot to do. I have finally gotten to a point where you can travel back and forth between the different time periods, so that's kind of fun. The plot is a little quirky. There's a whole plot line about people being magically turned into furniture, and it's our job to turn them back into people. Anyways, let me know if you're looking into it, or if you're already playing it and you really like it, or if you have any really good tips and tricks, especially for the combat, because I suck at that. Anyways, bye.